Economics is the study of how individuals, organizations, and societies allocate scarce resources to satisfy their unlimited wants and needs. The fundamental problem of economics is scarcity. There are limited resources available to satisfy unlimited wants and needs. To understand how the economics machine works, we need to first understand the basic principles of economics. 1. Supply and demand. Supply refers to the amount of a good or service that producers are willing and able to sell at a given price. Demand refers to the amount of a good or service that consumers are willing and able to buy at a given price. The price of a good or service is determined by the interaction of supply and demand. 2. Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refers to the value of the next best alternative that must be given up in order to obtain something else. Every choice involves an opportunity cost, because resources are scarce and must be allocated. 3. Marginal analysis. Marginal analysis involves weighing the costs and benefits of adding one more unit of a good or service. Rational individuals will only engage in an activity if the marginal benefit exceeds the marginal cost. 4. Comparative advantage. Comparative advantage refers to the ability of an individual, organization, or country to produce a good or service at a lower opportunity cost than others. Trade can benefit all parties when each specializes in producing the goods or services in which they have a comparative advantage. Now that we understand the basic principles of economics, let's explore how the economics machine works. 1. Production. Producers use resources to produce goods and services. Resources include land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. The production process involves combining these resources to create goods and services that are in demand. 2. Consumption. Consumers purchase goods and services using the income they receive from their labor or other sources. The consumption of goods and services provides individuals with the satisfaction of their wants and needs. 3. Exchange. Exchange occurs when individuals or organizations trade goods and services with one another. Exchange can occur through barter or through the use of money as a medium of exchange. 4. Markets. Markets are the mechanisms through which buyers and sellers come together to exchange goods and services. Markets can be physical or virtual and can be local, national, or international in scope. 5. Prices. Prices are the signals that coordinate the activities of producers and consumers in the market. Prices are determined by the interaction of supply and demand and reflect the scarcity of resources and the value of goods and services. 6. Competition. Competition occurs when multiple producers or consumers are vying for the same resources or goods and services. Competition can lead to lower prices and higher quality goods and services as producers strive to attract customers. 7. Government. Government can play a role in the economics machine through its policies and regulations. Government policies can influence production, consumption, exchange, markets, prices, and competition. The economics machine is constantly in motion as individuals and organizations make choices about how to allocate scarce resources to satisfy their wants and needs. The principles of economics guide these choices and ensure that resources are used efficiently and effectively. The economics machine is dynamic and complex, but by understanding its basic principles, we can gain a better understanding of how our economy works and how we can participate in it to achieve our goals. As we do all the times, some words or technical terms need to be deeply explained. What is scarcity in economics? Scarcity in economics refers to the fundamental problem of having unlimited wants and needs in a world of limited resources. This means that there are not enough resources to produce all of the goods and services that people want and need, and that choices must be made about how those resources are allocated. The impacts of scarcity can be significant and can be seen in a range of economic phenomena. Here are some potential impacts. 1. Opportunity cost. Scarcity means that choices must be made about how resources are used. This means that whenever a resource is used for one purpose, it cannot be used for another. This creates an opportunity cost, or the value of the next best alternative foregone. For example, if a country decides to allocate resources to building more roads, it must give up the opportunity to use those resources to build schools, hospitals, or other infrastructure. 2. Price signals. Scarcity also creates price signals. As goods and services become more expensive, when they are in short supply, this can create incentives for producers to increase production or for consumers to reduce consumption, helping to balance supply and demand in the market. 3. Competition. Scarcity can also create competition for resources, as individuals and firms seek to acquire the resources they need to produce goods and services. This can lead to innovation and efficiency gains, as firms seek to produce goods and services using fewer resources. 4. Resource depletion. Scarcity can also lead to the depletion of natural resources. As individuals and firms seek to extract resources at an unsustainable rate, this can lead to environmental degradation, reduced biodiversity, and other negative impacts. Overall, the impacts of scarcity can be complex and far-reaching, and will depend on a range of factors, including the nature of the resources in question, the level of demand for those resources, and the efficiency of resource allocation mechanisms. What is barter? Barter is a method of exchanging goods and services without the use of money. It has been used throughout history as a way for people to obtain the goods and services they need without relying on a centralized currency or financial system. In a barter transaction, two parties agree to exchange goods or services of equal value. For example, a farmer might exchange a bushel of wheat for a pair of shoes from a shoemaker. Barter systems can be bilateral, meaning that two parties exchange goods or services directly, or multilateral, meaning that multiple parties exchange goods or services in a more complex network. Barter was a common method of exchange in many early societies, where currencies and financial institutions had not yet been developed. It continued to be used in many parts of the world well into the modern era, particularly in areas with limited access to currency or financial systems. However, barter has limitations, as it can be difficult to find someone who has the goods or services that one needs, and who is willing to exchange them for something of equal value. This can make barter inefficient and time-consuming, particularly in large-scale economies. In modern times, barter has largely been replaced by monetary exchange, where people use currency to buy and sell goods and services. However, barter continues to be used in some contexts, such as in informal economies, small-scale transactions, and in some specialized markets, where goods or services are difficult to price or exchange using currency.